Today I made an entire day of Bulgarian meals with only 5 ingredients each. Let's start with breakfast. Most Bulgarians eat yogurt at least once a day. That is why I decided my first meal to be a yogurt bowl topped with figs, walnuts, graham crackers, and honey. This is super easy, customizable, and satisfying meal that you can serve for breakfast or snack. And the best part is you only need 5 ingredients. There's one thing you'll see next to almost every meal in this video: bread. In Bulgaria, bread isn't just something we eat. It's part of our traditions and customs. We serve it with almost everything. So let's make bread using only 5 ingredients: water, sugar, yeast, flour, and salt. Use a wooden spoon to combine the ingredients. If you can stir, you can make this recipe. Add flour gradually until you get a sticky dough that is hard to mix with the spoon. When it gets challenging to stir, transfer the dough on a floured surface and try to shape like a ball. No kneading necessary, just shape it as round as possible. Then return to the mixing bowl, cover and proof for 1 hour. When the dough is double in size, transfer it on a floured surface and shape one last time. Pull each corner of the dough towards the center. You can either use a proofing basket like this one or another clean bowl to proof again. In 30 minutes, carefully transfer the dough on a parchment paper and try not to deflate it. Score the top with a sharp knife or a razor blade and place it in a cold Dutch oven. I prefer baking in a cold Dutch oven instead of preheating it because, in my opinion, this method creates more even crumb and prevents the bottom from burning. Bake covered for 30 minutes at 430 Fahrenheit or 220 Celsius, then remove the lid and bake for another 10 to 15 minutes. And this is my favorite moment. The bread comes out of the oven and fills the house with its aroma. You see that homemade bread doesn't have to be complicated. All you need is 5 simple ingredients and some patience. And I still haven't found store-bought bread that matches the flavor and texture of my homemade one. That is why I haven't bought bread for more than 15 years. And now that the bread is ready, let's make lunch. I want to make Bulgarian white bean soup and serve it with that crusty bread. I soak the beans overnight, then drain them and add fresh water. Bring to boil, season with salt and dry mint. This is not the typical Bulgarian bean soup that has carrots, peppers, and tomatoes. This is a picky husband edition soup, only with beans and onions. For this special soup, you cook the beans until tender, then caramelize finely chopped onions and some sunflower oil. Season with some salt and smoked paprika. Stir and return to the pot. This method is called zaprashka, and Bulgarians often use it when they make bean and lentil dishes. I add some fresh mint to finish and the soup is ready. Like I said, this is not the typical Bulgarian white bean soup. Most Bulgarians add carrots, peppers, and tomatoes to their soups. My husband likes his soup only with caramelized onions. Please note that for this 5 ingredient challenge, I don't count water and salt as ingredients. Now let's make a delicious snack out of eggplant. I prepared the eggplant for roasting by washing and scoring it. One time an eggplant exploded in my face during roasting, and since then I always score it before placing it on the hot grill. It takes 5 to 7 minutes per side and the eggplant is ready. Put it in a pot, cover with the lid, and cool off completely before you start peeling it. Once you remove all the peels and the stem of the eggplant, put it in a jar. In the same jar, add 1 clove of garlic, salt, and mayonnaise, about a 1/4 cup. I used homemade mayonnaise. You can find the recipe on my website or my YouTube channel. Blend until smooth and it's ready for serving. I like to eat it on a piece of toast as it is, but if you want a fancier presentation, chop some fresh parsley and walnuts for a topping. I rarely do that. I'm not sure if this is traditional Bulgarian recipe. It's most likely an Eastern European recipe, but my mom used to make it for me when I was younger and I still make it for my family. It is something simple with minimal ingredients and very delicious. My favorite way to eat it is just spread some on a toast as a snack. You can also serve this as an appetizer and dip crackers and vegetables in it. When you want to make this dip but you want to save time, you can roast the eggplant in advance. Just keep it in the refrigerator and blend as you need it. For dinner, we're gonna make another Bulgarian meal that needs only 5 ingredients. Stuffed peppers with feta and eggs. For this recipe, I mix 12 ounces of feta with 2 eggs. Bulgarians don't use the typical feta made from goat's or sheep's milk. We use white cheese that is made from cow's milk. It's called sirene and I buy mine from the international stores. Also, for this recipe, you need sweet peppers with thin flesh that cook fast. I use gypsy peppers that I buy from my local farmer's market. Once you mix the feta with the eggs, use a small teaspoon to stuff the peppers and close the opening with a tomato cap. Have you noticed that all the recipes I'm showing you are vegetarian? Well, I grew up during socialism where meat was a luxury. We ate a lot of vegetarian meals, especially foods we can grow ourselves or exchange with neighbors. A lot of what we ate came from a little piece of land. Once you stuff all your peppers and place the tomato caps, chop the remaining tomato and add it in the baking dish. Bulgarians don't waste any food. Preheat the oven to 400 Fahrenheit or 200 Celsius. Add a 1/2 cup of water. You can also drizzle some olive oil on top. Bake for 20 minutes, then flip and bake for another 20 minutes. Keep in mind that baking time might be different depending on the type and the model of the oven. This is how they look when they're ready. The water is mostly gone and the peppers are nicely blistered. The filling is so creamy. Honestly, that's one of my favorite Bulgarian recipes. I make it very often at home, especially in late summer when the peppers are the sweetest. Finally, let's make a dessert with only 5 ingredients. These are my favorite Bulgarian walnut cookies. To prepare them, blend finely 1 cup of raw walnuts in a food processor. In a medium saucepan, add 2 egg whites, 1/2 cup of sugar, and the ground walnuts. Stir on low heat until the mixture thickens. Turn off the heat when it looks like this. Remove from the stovetop and squeeze a few drops of fresh lemon juice in the saucepan. Then add a tablespoon of cornstarch. Some Bulgarians use a different method of preparation where they beat the egg whites with the sugar and then gently fold in the ground walnuts. After I tested both methods, I can confidently say that the stovetop method creates the most authentic taste and texture of the Bulgarian walnut cookies. Do not try to move the cookies while they're still hot. They are soft at first, but they get firm as they cool off. If your cookies stick to the parchment paper, they're probably underbaked. The Bulgarian walnut cookies are lightly crisp on the outside and soft and chewy in the center. Visit the description below for all the links to the recipes shown in this video. Thank you so much for watching.